What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, yesterday news broke that the Detroit Lions cut second-year running back and former Detroit Lions draft pick Ty Johnson in order to activate Jayron Kearse, the free agent safety that we just brought in this offseason. They cut Ty Johnson to activate him from the suspension list. Now, I know a lot of people are very high on Jayron Kearse. I know a lot of people have great expectations for him, but I don't think that people quite understand how good and how helpful this move is going to be for the Detroit Lions defense. So today, I wanted to go over Jayron's career so far, some of his strengths, what he's done in the NFL, something he can bring to the Detroit Lions, and just, go over how impactful he can actually be for this defense that, outside of last week, has struggled throughout the first couple weeks of the NFL season. Now, before we do get into this, talking about Jayron Kearse and his impact he could have on the Lions, but if you are new to the channel and are enjoying the content, consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes only 2 seconds out of your day and helps me push this channel out to more Lions fans such as yourselves. So if you could do that, I would be greatly appreciative for it. But with all that being said, let's get into talking about Jayron Kearse and the impact that he can bring to this Detroit Lions defense. Now, Jayron Kearse was out for the first 3 weeks of the NFL season as he was serving a 3-game suspension for off-the-field issues stemming back to last season. It sucks, but it's out of the way. It's over now, and Jayron Kearse is officially eligible to play and is officially a member of the Detroit Lions active roster as of yesterday. Now, Jayron Kearse was a massive addition to the secondary in the offseason, and he is going to bring a much-needed boost to the secondary as we take on a very good offense in the New Orleans Saints that are returning the reigning offensive player of the year. Jayron Kearse is a very versatile player. He's a very athletically gifted player. He's a very clutch player, and this dude is just a playmaker. Like, when you need somebody to make plays, you better not be testing Jayron Kearse. Like, if the game is on the line, the offense better not be testing Jayron Kearse because this dude is clutch, and he comes up with big plays in big moments, and we will talk about that in a little bit. Looking at some of Jayron Kearse's measurables, Jayron Kearse stands at 6'4", 220 pounds, which officially makes him the Lions' biggest and heaviest safety on the roster. Now, looking at some of his combine measurements, at the combine, Jayron Kearse ran a 4.62 40-yard dash, clocking in at 17.71 miles per hour on the run, which is, not great, but it's pretty solid. He can run with any tight end. He can run with most running backs and some receivers. His speed is not a big concern to me. Not the fastest safety, but very serviceable speed at that size and weight. Now, Jayron Kearse put up 16 reps on the bench press at the combine, had a 31.5-inch vertical as well as a 124-inch broad jump. So this dude is athletic. He can outrun you. He can outjump you. He's strong enough to win on some of those, he's strong enough to hold up contact and hit some people back. Like, Jayron Kearse is a very athletic guy. He's big, he's heavy, he's fast, he's strong. He can hit you, he can cover, he can outrun, he can outjump you. Like, there's not a whole lot from an athletic standpoint that Jayron Kearse can't outdo somebody in. And, that just bringing that athleticism and that ability to a defense is going to be super, super impactful for any defense, especially the Lions defense that, to be totally honest, isn't necessarily the biggest, fastest, strongest defense out there in the NFL. Now, I mentioned that Jayron Kearse brings versatility to this team, and what I mean by that is that Jayron Kearse is kind of like the Isaiah Simmons before Isaiah Simmons. And I actually think that Jayron Kearse was a reason that we were able to pass on Isaiah Simmons in the draft and be able to take Jeff Okudah at that number 3 overall position. Now, obviously, Jayron Kearse is not quite the same player that Isaiah Simmons is, but they are very, very similar when you look at measurables and skill set. Now, Jayron Kearse came out of Clemson a few years ago as his whole thing was that he was a versatile player and he could play everywhere, and the Vikings used him as such in their defense throughout the past couple of years. Now, in 2019, Jayron Kearse played 16 snaps at defensive end rushing the passer. Jayron Kearse played 52 snaps as a box safety. He played 108 snaps as a slot cornerback, and he played 86 snaps as a deep safety. So Jayron Kearse can do anything. He can rush the passer, he can run stop, he can cover deep, he can cover in the slot, he can really do anything for this defense, and you can line him up anywhere on the defense. You can line him up in the front 7, you can line him up at safety, you can line him up at cornerback, and he's never going to look out of place because he has the skill set, he has the athletic ability and the skill set in order to make every position work for him. He can play at any position on the defense, and that is going to be a huge advantage for this team because then with Jayron on the field, you can put him in the box, but then he could always bail into deep zones. He could always cover that slot receiver that's a couple yards away. He could always blitz. He could always come up and stop the run. Like, when you put Jayron Kearse on the field, the defense does not know what's going to happen because Jayron can do anything from any position on the field. Having that guy on the field that, the defense can look at him in any position and they don't know if he's blitzing, they don't know if he's covering, they don't know if he's spying, they don't know what the heck this guy is doing. So, that's going to be the first round in every play, and that's going to slow up quarterbacks because, they're going to look at Jayron Kearse and say, okay, is this dude dropping into coverage? Is this dude coming at me? Is this dude coming up to stop the run? Is he in man coverage? Is he in zone coverage? Is he coming to get me? Like, there are so many things that Jayron Kearse can do out of every single position that, it's just going to help the defense. And it's going to be great for Jayron Kearse because obviously that helps him. But, having a guy that can do all those things helps the Lions disguise coverages, helps the Lions disguise some of the things that they like to do. And you could do some weird flipping, you can switch your coverage post-snap. You can roll coverages post-snap. You can, show man pre-step and shift to zone. Like, there are so many extra things you can do with Jayron Kearse on the field because you can put him in any spot and it's not going to give away what you're doing. You can put him at slot cornerback, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's man-to-man. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's zone. That doesn't even necessarily mean that he's covering anybody. Like, you could put him on a tight end. Again, that doesn't mean it's man coverage. That doesn't mean it's zone coverage. That doesn't even mean that he's covering at all. Like, Jayron Kearse can literally do anything from any role on the defense, and that is going to help the defense disguise blitzes better. That's going to help the defense disguise their defense in general better, and that's just going to help the defense make the quarterback's life difficult, and it's going to give our pass rushers more time to get there. It's going to give our secondary more opportunities to get interceptions and get turnovers, and it's just going to help the defense out as a whole. Now, if you look at what he did last year as mainly a backup player on the Minnesota Vikings roster, last year he had an impact on the team definitely, but it wasn't necessarily the biggest, flashiest performances. Now, in the 2019 season, Jayron Kearse played in 15 games, started 3. He had 28 total tackles, 6 passes defended, and 1 interception, which is solid for a backup safety that, honestly didn't get as many reps and didn't get as much of an opportunity as I think he deserved. Now, one of the last things that I do want to mention when talking about Jayron Kearse is this dude is clutch. If you have a big moment on your defense where your defense needs to step up, your defense needs to make a last-minute drive, your defense needs to make a last-minute stand, Jayron Kearse is the guy that you want on the field. And the game that comes to mind when I mention that is the Denver Broncos versus Minnesota Vikings game that they played last year. The Denver Broncos went to Minnesota and they needed a game-winning drive within 2 minutes, and a touchdown wins the game. If they don't score a touchdown, the game is over. And they tested Jayron a lot throughout that last drive, and Jayron came up in every big moment possible. Now, I'm going to walk you through step by step what exactly happened on this final drive and show you just how clutch this man was and just how big of an impact he had in the outcome of that game. Go back, and I'm going to be showing these clips on the screen. So 2 minutes left in the game. The Broncos, I believe, are down by 5 points, 4 points, something like that. A field goal won't get it done. A touchdown needs to be scored to win the football game, or at least get ahead with less than 2 minutes on the clock. So 2 minutes are on the clock, and the Broncos take a shot in the end zone against Jayron Kearse, and Jayron Kearse gets a nice pass breakup, breaks up the pass, doesn't allow anything to happen, and the clock stops. A great play by Jayron Kearse, saved the touchdown, didn't allow anything to happen in the end zone, and saved the play. A couple plays happen. The Broncos get a couple first downs. They get a couple first downs. They're moving the ball a little bit as they drive closer and closer to the red zone. It is 4th down and 1 with 28 seconds left. Now, I can't remember who the quarterback is. I can't remember his exact name. It was number 2 on the Broncos, and they run a read option on 4th and 1, and the Minnesota Vikings crash inside on the running back. The quarterback gets outside, breaks a tackle, and is on his way to the end zone. And Jayron Kearse, with 28 seconds left on the clock, makes a huge clutch tackle, comes off the guy he's covering, makes a tackle. There was nobody else behind Jayron, so if Jayron Kearse misses this tackle, the game is pretty much over. There'd be 20 seconds left on the clock, and the Minnesota Vikings would need a touchdown to win the game. If Jayron misses this tackle, it is game over. But he doesn't. Jayron Kearse wraps up. He makes a tackle at, I believe, the 4 or 5 yard line and puts the quarterback on the ground and starts wasting some clock. Now, the Denver Broncos then spike the ball. There's 10 seconds left on the clock, enough time for 2 plays to be ran on the game, and those 2 plays are going to decide the outcome of the game. So what do the Denver Broncos do? Well, they look at Jayron Kearse. They look to test him twice in a row. With 10 seconds left on the clock, the Denver Broncos throw it into the end zone, and Jayron Kearse makes a great play on the ball and almost intercepts it. And the only reason he does it is because the wide receiver has the awareness to knock the ball away before Jayron can, make a football move and catch the football. So Jayron Kearse makes a big play there, almost had the interception to end the football game, but now there's only 2 seconds left on the clock, and there is enough time for one more play to be ran. And what do the Denver Broncos decide to do? They decide to throw a goal line fade with Noah Fant and Jayron Kearse. 1v1 in the end zone, jump ball. If you get it, you win the game. If you don't, if Jayron breaks it up, the game is over and the Minnesota Vikings win. And guess what happens? Jayron Kearse breaks up the pass. It's pass interference. Noah Fant pushes off. And you know what? Jayron Kearse still makes the play. Jayron Kearse still is able to knock that ball away. And at the end of the game, they tested him 4 different times on that last drive within 2 minutes. And Jayron Kearse showed up big in every single moment and pretty much single-handedly won the Minnesota Vikings that football game. I mean, he used his size, he used his speed, he used his intelligence, he used his playmaking ability and his clutch factor to come up big in a big moment and single-handedly win the Vikings that football game. There are other instances of him coming up clutch as well, and he's made a lot of plays throughout his career, a lot of big plays, but that was the moment, that was the game that I watched where I was like, man, this dude can take over a game. This dude, if you test him, he is going to make a play on you eventually. Like, there is not too many times where you can pick on Jayron Kearse in a defense and have it go well for you. There's not too many times where you can target Jayron Kearse and expect great things to happen for your offense because he's just too athletically gifted, too smart, and too experienced of a player to let things like that happen to him. And in that Denver Broncos game, he showed up big for his team, and he single-handedly won them that game. Everybody else on the defense was giving up first downs. Everybody else on the defense missed that tackle on the quarterback, but Jayron Kearse didn't. Jayron Kearse showed up, he hit the quarterback, put him on the ground. Jayron Kearse had 3 PBUs on that drive alone and single-handedly shut down the Denver Broncos tight ends and did not allow them to get that touchdown to win the football game. I mean, just Jayron Kearse is such a freak of nature. He's such an athletic monster. He is experienced in the NFL. I believe he is a 5th-year NFL veteran at this point. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he's experienced, he's knowledgeable. He can disguise all kinds of blitz packages. He can disguise anything on the field that you want him to do. He can do anything out of any position that the Detroit Lions defensive coordinator wants him to do. And this is the kind of guy that defensive coordinators dream of. Yeah, Isaiah Simmons might be better. Isaiah Simmons might have a higher ceiling or whatever, but Jayron Kearse can do exactly what Isaiah Simmons is doing, and I guarantee you that we are going to use Jayron Kearse much more than the Cardinals are using Isaiah Simmons right now. We are not only going to give Jayron Kearse 20-something snaps throughout the first 3 games. We are going to put Jayron Kearse on the field because the Lions defensive coordinator, Corey Unlund, realizes and he knows that Jayron Kearse is an animal. Jayron Kearse is a playmaker. He's a big, fast, athletic safety that he can use a lot in a lot of different positions, and he can use Jayron Kearse in so many different ways to disguise blitzes, to disguise coverages, to disguise everything that the Lions are doing, and especially against a very experienced and a very, very good offense with the reigning offensive player of the year, the former rookie of the year in Alvin Kamara, a running back that is probably the best receiving back in the NFL right now, if not Christian McCaffrey, then it is him, and then obviously you have Drew Brees, who's a very, very experienced quarterback. So the Lions defense needs to step up this week if they want to keep the Saints, out of the end zone as much as possible. And Jayron Kearse is going to be a huge part of that. Jayron Kearse is going to have a huge role in this game. He is going to be out there on the field a lot, and hopefully he replaces Will Harris. To be totally honest, I'm not a huge fan of Will Harris. I don't think he's that good, to be totally honest. And, replacing Will Harris with Jayron Kearse, who has all the athletic ability in the world, has the experience, has the ability, and knows exactly what he needs to do on given plays. He can cover better. He can hit harder. He can outrun. He can outjump you. He is just a all-around better player than Will Harris, and hopefully the Lions defensive coordinator is smart enough to realize that, and Jayron Kearse starts taking over the snaps that Will Harris is playing, and maybe even gets Jayron Kearse a little bit more involved than Will Harris was last week. So I mean, this dude Jayron Kearse is going to be a playmaker for the Lions. This dude is going to be the Lions game changer, and I know the Lions defense stepped up big last week, but the Lions defense is getting a huge game changer this week to come in against the New Orleans Saints. They're getting a game changer that can come in and make plays for you. He can turn the game around. He can shift momentum, and in a season where the Detroit Lions are 1-2, they are coming off a huge win and another win, going 2-2 into the bye week, and then going into probably the easiest stretch of our season. That would be huge. And if we do win this game, look for Jayron Kearse, because I think that if we win this game, it's going to be in big part to Jayron making plays. I think it's going to be that the Saints are going to try to test him early because he hasn't been on the field a lot. He hasn't been playing in the first 3 games, so I think the Saints are going to look to test him, and I think Jayron's going to stand up. Jayron's going to make plays, and Jayron is just going to make things happen on the football field that we haven't seen out of our safeties in quite a while. So with that being said, though, that is all I got for you guys today. That is what I think about Jayron Kearse. I think this dude is a monster. This dude is going to have such a huge impact, and this was one of my favorite free agent signings that we made in the offseason. So, I'm super high on Jayron Kearse. I can't wait to see him play on Sunday. But with all that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. If there is Lions news before tomorrow, then I will obviously make a video letting everybody know. But if there is no Lions news, then I will see you all tomorrow with more Lions content. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow with more Detroit Lions content. Bye, guys.